What's up, guys? Gogan here with another tutorial. Today we are going to be animating a cat. Okay, this little guy is so cute. He's so awesome. He is from the Agora community. Okay, today we are going to be animating the cat, just kind of doing its thing, licking its paw, getting a little timid, looking around, and then jumping out of scene. Okay. This animation is a lot easier than it looks. Okay, and there's a lot of personality in this animation and in this cat, and let's just go have fun. Okay, so. As always, what we are going to start with is the very first pose. Get rid of all this other stuff, all that beautiful, amazing work, right? Just get rid of it. So, gonna go ahead and start off the first pose here, okay? The gamma rig, I might make a video going over the gamma rig and how to get this kind of pose. It was a little bit hard with the legs. There's a lot of things that I had to do to get this kind of, this cute, fun little sitting pose because it's a four-legged animal, and this little guy, you know, four-legged animals are so hard to get to sit down, right? So this guy's a little hard. Maybe I'll go over a video in another. I'll go over that in another video. Okay. But let's go ahead and create a camera real quick. Before we fully get started, guys, I just want to say thank you for all the support that you've given on my channel. Please keep giving me support. If you like what you see so far in the video with what we're doing here today, please like and subscribe. Okay? Please share it as well. Leave comments. Do all that cool stuff. Keep building this channel. Keep building this community. Thanks, guys. You rock. From this camera angle, I actually, let's lock this camera right here, this button, okay? I actually don't like this ear pose that I got here. If you look, it looks a little flat, this, like, weird. So, I want to go ahead and change that really quick. Okay, go here. Go ahead and change this to more of this. So it's a nice, like, curve of the face is nice and, like, it flows, right? It's not this breakup of this weird ear right here, okay? And, you know, we could probably go ahead and clean this up as well. Do a little bit of this action, maybe get the tip of the ear coming out. And just for, just because I want to point this out real quick, I went ahead and scaled the ears down in this animation, just because I didn't like how big they were. This character comes with huge ears. I wanted to be more like a cat, so I went ahead and scaled the ears down. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get started with our animation. Gotta make sure that I am in stepped and clamped mode. So what we have here, him licking his paw, okay? The next pose that we're gonna build out is his licking his paw and his head going upward and his tongue going upward as well. His paw coming down like this and coming out like this. I actually don't like do all the extra like finger curl stuff until like that's like a polish pass. I don't do that in the blocking just because I like to see how it feels first, of how like the actual big movement feels. It's just like animating hands. You don't want to like animate like the fingers doing all this crazy stuff in the blocking, right? Because that's just pointless. You might change it in the end. And so I just like block out main poses, and that's what I do here as well. I just block out the main poses of the paw. I treat it just like a hand. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the tongue controls. I went ahead and scaled up Gamma's tongue because I liked, I like, cats have fatter tongues when they're licking their paws, right? They're cutesy and they have these really skinny tongues. When they're licking their paws, their tongue really flattens out, okay, and really like it almost gets bigger, right? Okay. Let's see, I'll go ahead and link some reference in my video. I'm not going to look at the reference today where I pull up the reference. There's so many cat videos. We can all like agree that we don't have to look at the reference in this video. At least I don't think so. There's so much cat reference out there that it's absolutely bonkers. Okay, he goes to lick his paw. Now, with this kind of animation, like, I'm going to go ahead and just copy and paste these frames, okay? Like, I do want to change them up in my blocking, but we can go ahead and copy and paste them. Like, that movement is still the same, right? It's not going to change going from here to here, back down, and then here again. It's not going to change. What's going to change is maybe our, like, head tilt and stuff like that. And we can do that, but like, let's get our, like, main poses in first. Like, let's copy and paste and use the poses that we already created, and not give ourselves more work. Okay. Goes up a little bit farther down the arm. Maybe not quite as far with that paw since the first one. Cats actually use this, you know, lick their paws in order to groom themselves. A lot of people know this. A lot of people don't. They lick their paws and then they wipe their like saliva on them to clean themselves, and then they lick their paw again to lick it off. It's actually pretty cute and cool. Okay, so goes up like this. Let's build that into the chest as well. I very well might create that also later on, get more of that chest movement, okay? But that's so subtle that I kind of like build that in sometimes later on, because I just try and get the main movement in the body like this. And really honestly, looking at the reference, cats really don't like really get into it with their entire body, right? Unless they're really cleaning like to the elbow up to the paw, right? And so really it's just like this cleaning right here, and so it's just going to do a head movement with maybe a little bit of chest movement, not a whole ton of full body movement, right? I wanted to do this animation because I thought it was really cute when I saw a cat video, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity to show you guys like an animation process of animating a cat. Okay, so then the cat's gonna get timid. He's gonna look up like this. And this is where you're gonna get more of that full body movement. He's gonna pick up like this, full body movement. Gonna come up like this. Got to bring his tongue in, so we're just gonna go ahead and select all those tongue controls. Close his mouth up like this. Now we're gonna go ahead and open his eyes. Oops, that's not the eye. This is the eyes here. Select all of his eyes. You know, I've also never been a picker guy. Like, I'm sure it would help me a ton if I paid more attention and did more picking stuff, like I set up a picker, but I honestly just don't like setting up pickers. Like, it just bogs down, and I know it might save me time later. I've just never done it, and so, and I might be even faster than I am if I went and set up a picker, but I've just never really done it. Some people probably drive some people crazy on my animation videos, but at the same time, I kind of don't like to do. I like to keep my videos as raw as possible because and like fresh animators, like not using any tool, can't afford any tools. You know, a lot of beginner animators watch my videos, and so I like to keep it as like versatile as possible and raw as possible, so that a lot of like even beginner animators can watch my videos and they don't get lost in the whole script thing and all that stuff. Bring his paw down like this. He's gonna look up. He sees something. Okay. He looks over. Maybe rotate his body like this. Gonna have his ears stand up because that's what cats do. Zero. Oops. Got a little too many controls in there. Make sure I just have the head controls. I mean the ear controls. Zero that out. Boop. You hear something. Gamma's ears have always, to me, looked like rabbit ears, so, and that's another reason why I like wanted to shrink his ears down, because they just felt like rabbit ears. Boop. You hear something. He's gonna. You know what? I actually build my eye darts in later on. I don't build them out as I am animating. I just don't, like, that's kind of a detail that's not like, I'm just trying to get like minimum blocking, right? Just like storytelling blocking with the way I animate. And you can see that in all my other videos, as I don't really do a whole ton of blocking in any of my videos. Okay, I just wanted to come straight up to this. looking around, pops up here, holds there for a second, then does a head dart. Okay? Cats are going to do a lot of head darts. They're not going to do really eye darts. There's still going to be eye darts in there, right? I mean, every living thing does an eye dart, looks around, right? When they're doing something, when they're thinking or listening. But cats are going to do a lot of like, you know, looking around like this, doing a lot of head darts, because that's, they move their, like they hear something and they move their head to that what they're hearing. Okay, and their ears, it's so cool, their ears like do their own thing as well, and then once their ear picks up on something, they move their head to that spot, so they can hone in and really get in on there. Maybe head darts that way, head darts down like this, downward. Okay, get a little bit of chest movement here. Not going to worry about this paw yet. That's a little bit of a detail thing that I'll do at the very end, because I don't really know what that paw. I want that paw to kind of stay stationary there the whole time, and I'm just going to add just a little bit of movement later on during like my polish. Okay, looks down, and then he really hears something. Really comes up with the chest. Zero this out here. Leans over this way, looks up, and even like really goes upwards with his body and his head. Then he's going to do another little head dart, and then he's going to go down and jump out of scene. And I really think my like a video I really want to like do. I think it'd be really helpful with the Gamma rig to really do a like video on how I got my sitting pose. It's such a hard thing to do. I actually animated animals on a game called Animal Jam for 7 years. I animated quadrupeds for 7 years. They were like cartoony quadrupeds, not really like realistic things. I would just say stylized. It wasn't like super cartoony. It wasn't super realistic or anything, but it was like right in the middle where that nice little stylized look. Okay, and that's what I really strive to do and really do like look for in my work, is I try to do a lot of stylized stuff. That's what I gravitate toward. Not too cartoony, not too realistic, but more stylized. All right, I went ahead and put that paw on the ground in front here. It's maybe even farther up, okay, because he is now getting ready to jump out. This paw isn't going to move. It's stationary, okay? He's not taking the time to take another step. He's just going to go right down into this pose here. Go down to just take that step. He's coming down here, anticipating, just like a regular jump. We want to make sure, let's zero out his neck, make sure his neck is completely zero. Let's zero out, let's zero out these two. We don't want to zero out the X, because he's bending down. One thing about these Agora rigs is I can never get the world, like the true world rotation on the head, and it kind of drives me bonkers. But other than that, I really don't have a whole ton of complaints about these Agora rigs. So when the cat is going to go down, it's getting ready to jump, right? And it's anticipating that jump. And actually what's going to happen with the cat is it's actually going to squash. So let's grab the head and the chest. It's gonna kind of like do a squash kind of thing with its body, right? And we want to emphasize that squash and that roundness. The cat goes down and it rounds out. It rounds out its back to really get really good momentum, so it can really leap. Move him forward just a bit, like this. Bend him down. He's looking towards where he's going to go. getting ready to jump. He either sees something. I'm intending him to be scared, but he could see something. Goes down. Now, we got to fix these here. They are no bueno. No good. Bring those in. We got to bring those elbows in. He's tucking those elbows in. Bring those elbows in like this. Let's see here. Where is that? Pole vectors are, it's always a love-hate relationship with pole vectors, right? I don't know. I don't like pole vectors that follow the arms. I like to have them separated, but I always lose them inside the body. It drives me bonkers. And there's actually something we can actually do really quick in the outliner here. I want to show you guys with like pole vectors. Okay, we can go ahead and select the pole vectors here, and we can go to Create, Sets, Set, and then we can go ahead and rename this to knee pole vectors. And what we can do with that is drop that down. It has our pole vectors in it, right? And so this is like a quick picker. And if I ever lose my pole vectors, I can always select these here and, you know, easily select my pole vectors there. So it bends down, and then he's going to jump. I want to build in this jump pose. So we're going to grab this main control, going to go up here like this. Pull this down. We're just going into that jump pose, okay? It's not, let's see. I want to actually go fully, I want to like extend his back legs completely out. And we're going to zero these out. And then we are going to zero these out, everything on these as well. There we go. Now we have his true back leg form. Then we're going to grab these front paws, pull them forward and up, rotate grab the toes there, rotate those upwards, go back like this. It's going to be underneath his body, just like this. Building out these animals is like a lot of fun. I always like, and so the cool thing with animals and quadruped is you can really push like the path of action, and it's awesome. I love like the path of action like quadrupeds with tails create, right? It's a lot of fun. We can, once we get into this, I'm actually glad that I just went ahead and created this pose, just because we can add the details in later. Just like a regular jump, I probably would just animate. In fact, I did a video just recently where I just did the, where I just animated the feet still planted and then the feet up in the air. And this is essentially the same thing. Gonna grab all these, pull these down. Oh, I didn't do the same to the other side. Let's go ahead and grab them at the same time. Rotate them down like this. Inward. Jumping up. And we can probably... I actually want to go from this pose straight to this pose. I think like this in between... I think I can get a cleaner in between that Maya will just give me. And that's something you guys are like be aware of, is like Maya will give you, let Maya give you your in-betweens, right? Your breakdowns. Like you have to adjust them, but like let Maya give you the breakdowns like for free. Okay? That's what this animation style really pushes, is like Maya will give you your, like at least get you like a breakdown that's like 50% of the way there. Okay? let Maya give you that. With the way I'm animating, I'm setting a key on every single control and making each control and that like save that key pose. So every single control has a key pose on it. So you're not losing any of your animation. It's always a key pose. And it's going from pose to pose to pose. You don't have all these keys all over the place everywhere because you've locked down a key on every single keyframe. Let's grab everything here, grab the pause, front pause, back pause, and pull him upwards. Just like this, just a little bit away so we can get this rotation here and a little bit more extension. Maybe we can grab these like hip controls. We can also pull them down. Okay, he jumps out here. He's going to jump off screen. Let's pull him the rest of the way based off of our camera here. He's not quite all the way off. So let's just pull him all the way off. So the only pose I'm going to put on the tail right now is when he is going to take off. And I want to create this fun little, as he's going down into the anticipation here, I'm going to create this fun little like S. And this is what I learned with all of the animals that I used to animate, is their tails will do this fun little S. We can grab all of them, go like this, then grab the final two and go like this. If you saw my cat tail video earlier this week, it's a really cool video where we learn how to animate a cat's tail because it can be kind of wild, right? Grab all of these controls, zero those out like here. Now we want to build in this curved tail because we have this S. When a tail is, it's gonna create an S and then it's gonna whip down and then go out. Okay, so and we want to build that in. It's creating a nice path of action. We want to keep that curve as it's coming out. Boom, right there. You see that nice curve. We're keeping that curve right there of that tail, and it's coming out just like this. And then, easy peasy thing is, with that, we can just straighten the entire thing out and then bend it downward. Like that. And that's creating that path of action. From what I can see here, if we go ahead and press play now, we haven't timed it. From what I can see here now, as we scrub through this cat animation, besides the tail, we have all of our main idea, right? The cat is licking its paw up and down, then it gets startled, looking around, looks up, anticipates down, and jumps off of scene, out of screen. Now, what we need to do is we need to make sure we are in step and clamp mode for everything, just like this. Now let's set a key on every single control on every single keyframe. Okay, and the way we do that is press S, less than sign, S, less than sign, S, less than sign. You need to make sure that you are selected on every single control in your scene. And when I say every control, I mean every control. This is a control selection set. These are really nice. You won't find this selection set in all rigs, but in these rigs, you do, and it's really great because you can just go here to the outliner, control set, right click, select all controls, and it selects everything. And then you can press S, less than sign, S, less than sign, and put a keyframe on every single control on every, sorry, you put a key on every single control on every single keyframe. Okay? Less than sign S, less than sign S. I do this on every single one of my videos. And this is how my workflow is. It's very pose to pose. It's a very pose to pose kind of workflow. And then it goes into like a straight ahead. It's like an in between of pose to pose and straight ahead, because straight ahead I'm not just like in spline mode. I am posing, but then I'm going into spline, but I don't have a ton of key poses. And so it's like it's a nice little in between, I think, of straight ahead and pose to pose. Let's go ahead and time out our animation now. I really don't want this animation to be more than 130 frames. That is about, with 30 frames a second, which is what I animate at, it is right at 4 seconds. And we really don't need more than 4 seconds to tell this story. And so it's really important that you guys like look for that. And like, do you like what, you know, keep it simple, stupid, right? KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't make it too complicated. I'm really like, I'm not sitting there having the cat lick its paw like 10 times and then look around for like 10 seconds. Just a couple of seconds. That's all you need just to get the point across. You just want to tell the story of this cat. And we want to spend, you know, we can spend a fair amount of time of him looking around, and then the really nice thing about this animation is like at the very front, he's doing all the slow, you know, looking around. That's a really slow, and then it ends on it going really fast. So he's anticipating down really fast and then jumping out of scene really fast, right? And that's a great thing to do in your animations, is because it's contrast, right? You want to show that timing contrast, that texture and timing on your animation. So he's licking his paws pretty slowly, going up pretty slowly, then down kind of faster, then going up slowly again. And then he looks really quickly. We want to give him some time to stay in each pose before he looks again. We need to set a keyframe there, because I know that I need to save this pose right here. I need to save this pose, put it to here, and then he's going to need another pose to go into, which is right here. So I'm going to give him a ton of new frames so he can do a head dart. And we might end up doing the head darts faster. We'll just have to see how we feel. Like sooner, not so spaced apart. Then he goes up into the scared fairly quickly. Then he's going to do a couple head darts. One head dart, mainly. I'm going to have him skip this pose here and go straight into this. And I'm going to let Maya give me this for free. I already built it in. I don't like what it's doing right now, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. And if you're curious of my hotkeys, go check out my hotkeys video. If you haven't, if you're new to the channel, I have a hotkeys video where I go over all my hotkeys and exactly what I'm doing with those hotkeys. Adding in-betweens, removing in-betweens, all that cool stuff. Goes down into his anticipation really quickly. Stays there, right? I said on my jumping video I do about 3 or 4 frames to go down into the anticipation. Then I stay in the anticipation for about 3 frames and then jump out. We want to ease into that jump out, and then it's going to jump out really quickly. So let's see how our timing is feeling now. All right. Really cool, really fun stuff. You'll notice that in our animation, as we watch this, I don't have the ears doing any flickering or any twitching or anything. I'm going to build that in after. There's no reason to build that in at the start. You just want to get the main idea down. This only your storytelling poses. That's all you want to do. And then from there, once you get your storytelling poses down and the timing feels good on those poses, then you can go in. If you want to do refined blocking plus, then you can do the whole ear twitch thing. But that's where I like to go straight ahead. And I just kind of like feel my way through the animation. So I'm not like bogged down by blocking. I don't know if it's because I get too excited or something of just like going into the blocking. But I don't like to stay in blocking for too long. A lot of animators will say, block as much as you can, block as much as you can. That's great and all. I don't do that because I feel like I get stuck in the blocking phase. And there's too much like robotic movement. Once I hit the spline button, it's just like too much robotic movement, right? But this way, with only the storytelling poses, I'm able to let Maya give me a bunch of animation for free, and I'm able to just kind of see how the spline is working. And that's the way I work. So we already went through, just because I like to be safe, I will select all the controls again, I blocked out my timing. It looks really good, really fun. I'll do the same less than sign S. And I do all that. This video might need a part 2. We'll see. Just to get all the fun little like ear twitches in and all that other stuff. But we'll see. We are about 30 minutes in or so. 20 to 30 minutes in so here. So, but we are going to now spline our animation. Boom. Let's see how it's feeling now. We hit the destroy button. It's not feeling too bad. It's actually feeling pretty good, right? Everything's hitting on the same things, right? So we need to time that out better, but it's actually feeling pretty darn good. So, first thing I like to do is I like to get rid of all those spots, just like in all my videos, of where it's hitting a plateau or a flat. And I just do a really quick pass on this. He comes up here. His body stops moving, and I just look at the direction it's going, and then I pull it up this way, creating a living hold here. I don't want his body moving quite as much. I want his body moving minimally. So I'm just going to pull that just a little bit, do this, tilt it. I want his head doing most of the movement. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that here to this frame. You notice his body's rotating back to this frame. I'm going to just go ahead and copy and paste this one, my new pose, since I pulled it over, right? I need to copy and paste that to here. Then he's going to rotate it over a little bit with it. Need to copy and paste the frame to there, have him keep going into there. Create a living pose, right? And then he's going to go down and create another living pose. Get rid of that plateau that you would see in the graph editor, which would be right here. You smooth that out. Smooth this out so it's not going and creating this hit valley and then hill right after. Just ease into that on the graph editor, right? Ease into those. And we'll look at the graph editor later on. Same thing's happening here. He goes up, kind of holds there. We're going to pull his shoulder down so we can get, so it's not overstretching. Copy and paste that to there. Okay, I think we got rid of all of our instances where he just his body holds. Something else. Now I just kind of, from here, I just kind of see how I feel. Okay. On some of my videos, I will, have a step-by-step, but other videos, I'll just kind of start having at it because I'm too excited. I want his head to, at least on these looks, I want his head to come first. Cats are going to really emphasize looking first, okay? And then their body. You got to emphasize their head is going to go first and then their body is going to follow behind. Regular people, people are going to look, the head's going to look first and then the body's going to follow. But cats do it so much more exaggerated, so we want to exaggerate that. And we'll see what it really looks like when we do it here. We can pull the 2 frames ahead. We'll see how that. Yeah, you can already. Yeah, look at that. You can already feel it already feels more alive, right? And we just barely did anything. We just moved the first keys over 2 frames, and the cat is now leading with its head into everything. And we can even lead in the head into this anticipation, jump anticipation. Oh, that's actually one plateau that I forgot, where the body stays still. Right here. Going down into that anticipation. We're going to move him forward as he's coming down so that when he's easing in, he goes backwards. There we go. And then he's going to build him onto end jump. We've already got that feeling really good. Just pulling the head keyframes over. They come before instead of after, or instead of during. you know, the head is now leading these movements. The next thing I want to do is just kind of go in and look at that tongue and that head. I want to like kind of roll into that licking, right? Cats will do that. Is they roll in, he's going to come back, they roll their body and their head. So if we look, we can rotate the neck down and go lean into that lick and then lean back, like lean upward. We can get rid of this keyframe since it's not really doing anything for us, right? And then we're going to roll in to this one as well. Maybe we should keep rolling back here so that he can roll into this. There we go. I want to give it the head a little bit of like, cats kind of like will, when they're licking their paws, they don't just, you know, go upwards, okay? They're not going to just go upwards. They're going to like tilt their head and really, you know, get their head leaning in. I feel really weird doing this like with my head as a cat. Actors and actresses will actually have these like videos. They'll talk, some of them will talk about doing like cat auditions to get their career started, and it's hilarious. And I feel like I'm doing that in front of you guys right now. So we get a little bit of fun rotation on the head. Just like this. Maybe we can lean it back this way so that he goes into the rotation the other way. Set a key pose here and then have the head rotate like this. We can make it so there's a little bit of overlap with the head. He can still lead, like he's still leading with the neck, but we can still make it so that there's a little bit of overlap with the head. And I think I need to build in the overlap on the head itself, because technically the body is just doing it. And so we want to build those plateaus out on the head as well, not just the body. Looking up. Oop. Oh yeah, so we got the nice little rotations in the head for that lick. I really want to get this overlap in this neck as he does the overlap on the head when he comes up. And so I'm going to pull his head downward, and then he's going to come up like this. Yeah. That's feeling really good. Let's put it on camera. The ears are obviously a whole thing right now. We're not going to focus on that right now. I want to go in. The tongue is a lot of fun. When I animated this the first time, before I showed you guys, before I was, you know, when I was trying to animate this for you guys, I really had a lot of fun with the tongue. It was really cool. And the reason it was cool is because I could create some, like, texture with the tongue, you know, dragging up and overlapping and twisting and turning. And so we can do that with this, is we can, like, have it overlap, the tip of the tongue overlap, and really, like, and really go with the paw. It's going to overlap upward. And then it's going to come downward like this. We want it meeting that arm. And maybe you can rotate this way so that later on, just a couple frames later, it can rotate back this way. And rotate down. And then rotate upward. Animals' tongues are really flexible. They drink water with their tongues. And so really on this tongue, like really get that overlap going and that drag, okay? This is kind of a little bit more of a polishy thing, but make sure you get that drag on that tongue. It's dragging across the paw. Okay, and so it needs to do a nice little drag on the very tip. Let's have him lean into his arm just a little bit more like this. And then he hears. Ah, just that subtle tongue, like animations really pushing this. Oh, I don't like how his tongue looks like a dog right now in this pose. It kind of looks really flappy right there. So what I want to do is I want to pull it in, just like this. After this first, and I want to actually pull it outward on this first lick. It's going to come out, and then as he's going to do the second lick, it's going to come into his mouth. And then on the second lick, it's going to come out again, like farther. Ah, yeah, look at that tongue on that cute, sweet little kitty. Cute little, sweet little kitty. Kitty cat. Kind of protruding here into the paw. Let's get that a little more polished up. Ah, feels so good. It still feels a little dog-like right here. I think we should keep the tongue in a bit longer so it doesn't feel so much like a flappy dog's tongue. Whoop, doing a little squirrely dance here. I think that's good. I actually like that because then like it's a small little lick before he hears whatever he hears. I think we can exaggerate that head pointing, like leading that action just a little bit more, honestly. Yeah, just like that. So since we tested that out there, let's pull all of them over a couple more frames. He's kind of going, if you'll notice the arc on his nose, it's a little bit kind of diagonal. If we watch the arc on his nose, it's a little diagonal, so I'm going to pull this head over. And that feels really cat-like. His head pokes up quite a bit. He's leading with the head still. It pokes up. And then the neck follows. Looks like we still have quite a bit of time here at the end where we have a lot of frames based on our goal of 130 frames. So let's go ahead and give ourselves those frames and give him time to look when he goes up like this. If we look, he's not taking very much time to look. He looks up. We're not giving him very much time to do some eye darts and really look at what he sees. So let's give him some more time to do that. He goes down a little fast. Let's ease into this. A little downward motion here. The way we can ease into that more is you see this free Maya pose. This free stuff that Maya has given us, right? It's free. Let's press S there and extend that out just a little bit. So he goes into it a little bit slower. And then we can even put there. So it's 3 here, and then 2, and then another 2. And he's down. Might be just a little bit too slow. Let's take that frame. So it's 3, 2, 1. And I like that timing so far. We're not touching the tail still. In fact, on my first animation, I think I made a little bit of a mistake when I was showing you guys. I don't think cats I have to look at more reference, but I don't think cats actually sit down and have their tails going about. I think when they're sitting down licking their paws, they're pretty relaxed, and so their tails are going to be down around them in some sort, but they're still going to flick. So we're going to build that in, not this like tail, this you know, crazy tail movement that cats usually have on their tails. Something I'm noticing on this here is that his head rotates back down. He goes up and his head rotates back down. A little too much for like that overlap we wanted to build in. It starts to go over, but I don't want that. I don't want it to start going over. Because that just shows like his head is anticipating what he's hearing. We just want it to be a surprise. So we want his head to keep easing into this lick here. And then it goes over. This paw hits a huge plateau. Let's go ahead and fix that as he hears something. He hits a plateau with that paw. Okay, so we want to bring that in. Copy and paste this frame over here. Keep easing into this. Copy and paste the frame to here. Keep easing into this. When he does his little look over, we can pull the paw up, curl it in, just to give it some personality. Nothing crazy. I don't like that pose. It comes really stiff with the paw. So I'm just going to bring it in again. Ease into that. Bring in. And then maybe, let's go ahead and like put his paw down actually right here. I don't like that. Keep his paw down here, even on this. And then he can bring it out just a little bit. Ease into that bring out, just like this. Maintain that pose. Let's go ahead and save it. Make sure we save that. So this is where we get into like the paw coming down. And just like a human being and anything else, for as far as weight transferring goes, he needs to plant that paw first before he can leap out. He needs to plant that paw first. So he's going to plant it here. Let's get rid of this and bring this in quicker. He's going to come down with his paw first. His paw's going to start planting first. And for some reason, we got to make sure we grab all of the paw. It's going to hit this pose. And it's going to come down in like this frame first. It's going to fully plant before he starts fully coming down. So let's see how that looks. Yeah, that feels really good, right? Maybe we can ease into this right here by setting a keyframe. Maya gives this movement to us for free. So let's set a keyframe there and then pull this other keyframe back, and that gives us an in between there, and that eases it in. That gives us an opportunity to ease into that paw plant. All right, as we're looking at it, we're just kind of analyzing it where we're at now. This little startled is a lot of fun. It might be fast though. We might want to ease into it a little bit more. Might want to ease into it just a bit more. And it might be the ear's fault, honestly. It might be the ear's fault that it's not looking right. Euler filter. Oh, good old Euler filter. Something we can do with these ears is we can, as they're coming up, create a little bit of overlap. pull them downward like this, drag them behind, have them hit their pose on the back end here, extend them out just a little bit farther, like that, and then they're going to settle like this. And the cool thing is we can deselect this one and this one, drag those behind, deselect this one, and drag that behind. And what that's going to do is you are telling the the base to arrive at this point, the next one to arrive at the frame after, and the next one to arrive the frame after. And so you're telling it to be, you're building in that overlap. Ah, look at that. Beautiful. Oh man. So easy to create that overlap, right? You're just pulling the keys. Don't be afraid to pull your keys, guys. Pull your keys around. Like it's really going to do a lot for you. Not building it in the graph editor, you're not going to get that kind of overlap in the graph editor. You have to pull the keys around to get that kind of overlap. We're getting close to ending the video because I feel like this is a really good stopping point. I want to build in, before we end the video though, I do want to build in that tail. So let's go ahead and grab this tail and let's pose it out into a new pose. Brought it down here, gonna curl it in. Just like this. I don't like quite how much, I want it curled in more, but not so close to the body. I still want it to be kind of relaxed like this. So now since I have my new pose, I think that's a really good pose there. So I'm going to select all of my controls on the tail. And up until, let's see where we go into this pose right here, this S curve, I am going to just get rid of every other pose and then bring it all the way to here. And the cool thing with this tail, since it's going to be so simple now, to get some really fun, like, you know, if we follow the previous video I had released this week, we can just get some really fun tail flicking action going on. We just can rotate up, grab all of our controls, rotate up, rotate down, just like this. Add a couple of, maybe we can come out and go back down. It can come out just a little bit more. We can curl it in, back in like this if we want. Press S here. Do like something's happening with him, so we can do a little bit of a bigger movement. Have it come back down like this. Rest on the floor. It comes up, goes back down to the same pose. We can flick it inward. This, maybe we can have it do a quick flick up. I want to rotate it down so it stays on the floor. And let's see how that's feeling. I think that feels like a cat's tail. Now, what we can do is we can grab all these three controls here. Now we're just going to build in that overlap. Pull it 2 frames back. Deselect the one, this is the base where the movement is at, right? So we want to deselect that, pull forward, deselect this one now, pull those ones forward. Oop. And now we're going to have the base of our overlap. Okay, we need to build in more overlap with the tip of the tail, just like the video earlier this week. So when the tail moves, we are going to build in that overlap at which it would start to go downward. We would flick the tail up and then bring it down. As this starts to drag over, we're going to drag this behind. Have it come in. Set a keyframe here because we like the pose we have here. Now we're going to pull the two tips over this way because they're going to overlap. Maybe we can curl this up just a little bit more and then slap it down faster. As this goes up here, we're going to pull it down because the base is starting to move upward. So then the tip is going to go downward. And then we can pop it up right here as the base starts to go down. And we want it to be more like a cat's tail, so it's going to flick around more. Rotating outward like this. Then it's going to come in. Let's see how our cat's tail is feeling. Ah, it's feeling good. I feel like that's a fun little cat tail pose. Not super crazy. I think that's about what a cat's tail would do in this kind of instance. Now let's quickly build out before we end the video. Let's quickly build in. This is happening just a little bit fast. Let's select all our controls on our tail. It's happening just a little bit fast. It doesn't have to come into its pose to go into this S curve. So like by the time we hit this, we can keep it coming up as the body is going down into the anticipation. But we do want to curl this tail downward. And maybe we can go pull this up like this. Ah, okay. We have a nice movement here for now. I don't like how jumpy that is. It travels quite a bit of distance, the cat does. So I'm going to add another keyframe here on all the controls, and then I'm going to add an in between. Give it just a little bit more time to leap. So with that, let's see how our our camera is looking here. We need to hold the paws on the floor until the body is going to reach its full extension outward. Right here. So maybe until this frame. This one is going to come up sooner. So we can actually just hold till here and then delete this. I don't like the ball roll on these. It just looks bonkers. So I'm just going to have the toes. Got to pull that back so it doesn't look like it's floating. Looks like we got his cute little fat belly. Look how chubby belly. Okay. Maybe we can bring his... I don't want to bring his back area up. Let's go ahead and focus on that later. Let's ignore that. Right? Rotates his back paws this way. Ah, look at that. Boom. Keep them rotated backwards, just like that. This paw is going to stay on the ground for longer than the other paw. And it's going to drag behind more. So maybe instead of having it drag behind more, maybe we can just bring this up like this and rotate that down. And that will give us enough of a pose difference. We gotta fix that. We can't ignore it anymore. We gotta fix it. Let's rotate that inwards like this. Copy this frame. I'm just gonna copy that. Let's see what our ball roll does. It's pretty wonky with this character. I don't like it all that much. Maybe we can do a ball roll and a toe roll. Just like that. Have these hip controls go get to their final destination sooner. What are these? Let's see what these are. Nothing of importance really. Right now, we can pull this in, have the body scrunch up just a little more as he's getting ready to jump. Accordion. Then he takes off. Let's get that tail working before we end this video and sign off. We'll do a part 2 video. Be sure to check out the part 2 video. Yep. We got to keep that S curve going. Like this. Comes down really fast. Let's make sure right here is where it's going to straighten out. See how it's creating that nice, right here we need to rotate this back this way. Probably pull it up, pull this over, maybe down. And this way. Don't be afraid to translate your controls either. Sometimes using translation really gets you, oh, look at that beautiful S wave curve, right? Where the tail is coming up. Ah, yeah, look at that path of action that tail is creating, right? It's the flow is, the whole flow in the tail is maintaining. You get that S curve, okay, like this, and it's maintaining that S curve the entire time as it's going up and out. Okay, you want to maintain that S curve. And that's exactly what we're doing as it goes up and out of the scene. Then we can rotate this downward so it still maintain. Ah, yeah, look at that. Oh, it's beautiful. And we can push it even farther, but we won't for purposes of the video. Length. Rotate these down just a little bit more. Ah, you look at that path of action on the tail. And he still needs a little bit of cleanup. Maybe right here. At least on this camera angle. Pull that over. Whatever camera angle you're in, you want to maintain that line of action. And right there, we are there. I think the animation's in a really good spot. We're getting the point across, right? If I were to show this in dailies or show this to like my director and be like, "Hey, do you approve of this animation? Do you approve of this idea?" He'd be like, "Yes." And then you'd say, "Oh, I'm gonna add in the ear flicks and all the like little subtle things that you would notice the cat would be doing on my next pass." And he'd say, "Okay, let's see it then." Anyway, this is what we have. I feel like it's a really good spot. I want to do a part 2 video really soon. Don't wait too long on the part 2 so we can really get into like the polish of this, because this is a really fun animation that a lot of people want to do this kind of stuff, but they get intimidated or they don't know quite how to go about it. This video is to show you how to go about it. Part 2 is going to show the polishing of it. I really enjoyed doing this video with you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I have my Discord server, the Animation Help, where anybody is welcome to come, leave their feedback. I give feedback daily, okay? I give feedback daily, so please come leave your shot. I also have my YouTube channel, right, where you get so many helpful tutorials. Going to be releasing more tutorials in the future, and just going to keep going. Please like and subscribe. If you're not already part of the channel, please like and subscribe. Share this with as many people as you can. Comment, do all that stuff. Leave me your feedbacks on what kind of videos you want to see, what kind of stuff you want to see in the videos, what you hate what I'm doing. A lot of people say tell me I say like a lot. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, keep giving me feedback, guys. Keep giving me comments. Share this. Like and subscribe. Do all the things. You can find me on so many places and so many social media places. Thanks, guys. Happy animating.